Hey guys, welcome to the Numeracy 2021, the 10 credit unit standard paper. If you're joining me for the first time, the way this video works is that I go through each question, and normally, as I said before, with NCEA papers, I'd actually do with what you got to do for achieve merit and excellence. But obviously for this kind of paper, I'm just going to show you guys what you need to do to get the tick mark, I guess. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so question one, what we've got is, we've actually got Jess is driving from Rotorua to Lake Tikitapu. Dotted line shows which direction is Jess driving. Alright, so we are actually starting from Rotorua here, and we are actually heading towards this direction. Probably should use a different color, just so that we can kind of see what's happening here. So from Rotorua, and we're kind of heading towards in this direction. Now if we take that direction and we put it against our little whatever you call that thing, late in the night, I can't even remember what these things are called now. This is just weird, isn't it? Is it a map? Oh, compass. Did you call it a compass? Oh, this is just awful, but you get what I'm trying to say here, right? So we're actually looking at this particular direction here. Now we know that the south is at the bottom, we've got east here, and then we've got west. So this is looking at southeast as our answer here. So we're going to tick off southeast and move to the next part of the question. Using the scale on the map, estimate how many kilometers Jess travels. So I'm going to go back to this part here. Now, you guys will have a ruler here, and I'm going to try and kind of use a ruler here to kind of guess and check. So that looks roughly 2Ks, as you guys can see. You can kind of see that these big lines that I've got here is about, so one of them is 2K. So what I'm going to do is, you can do it two ways, right? You could kind of go roughly there, so that's about 2Ks there, and then maybe I would probably just make this another 2Ks. I know that it's not perfectly straight. It's another 2, maybe another 2 there, another 2 there, and roughly looking at another 2 there. So that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can kind of say that's roughly 10Ks. Probably would say a little bit more, because you've got like this little curl that's actually happening here, so that wouldn't exactly be 2Ks. Yeah, so I mean, like, I'd say probably like 10.5. I don't know, it's just it's an estimate, right? So I'm going to actually put down 10.5 Ks. Now, when I look at the answer schedule says 11 Ks, except any distance between 10 to 11.5. We said 10.5, so we're pretty happy with that. All right, question C. What we've got here is the walk around Lake Tikitapu is 3.6 long, and friend says the walk takes about 25 minutes. Just know the medium walking speed is about 4 kilometers per hour. All right. Now I'm looking at this question and says the friend says the walk takes about 25 minutes, but then the medium walking speed is like 4 kilometers per hour. Straight away it kind of doesn't make sense, because if you think about it, right, like if this is 3.6 Ks long and it takes like 25 minutes, okay, that usually means that you're doing about 7.2 Ks in 50 minutes, and you're actually saying that the average walking speed is about 4 Ks per hour. And then I think the friend's claim is actually incorrect, because they're actually overestimating it. Because if you think about 3.6 Ks long, if they take 4 Ks, if they take an hour to walk 4 Ks, how can they kind of say that it only takes them 25 minutes? So you kind of use this bit of information to just write a statement, I'll probably say no. And I would actually use the numerical evidence that I've just given on this side here. So I would say friend is incorrect because walking speed is it like, so I could say friend is incorrect. As her, well, as just nodes, we don't know whether it's of he or she, as friend's estimate, friend's speed estimate is roughly, we can kind of say roughly 8 k's per hour. I mean, it's just a rough, right? When average medium walking speed is only 4. So yeah, I think the friend is kind of overestimating here. Cool guys, that's basically question 1. We go to question 2 now. Okay, so with question 2a, what we've got is taro costs $7 a kg. What's the cost of taro that weighs 510 grams? Now looking at this, I'm going to go with the closest value. So if it's $7 per 1 kg, which is the same thing as saying 1,000 grams. So 500 grams is going to cost roughly $3.50. So 510, we look at it, the closest value that we have is $3.57. So that's what I'm going to do there. Now, if you are to use the calculator for this, just going to move my calculator a bit. You could actually go 0.51 times 7, which actually gives you $3.57 as well. Now that 0.51, I did that was because it's 510 grams out of 1,000. So that's that 0.5. That's where that 0.51 comes from. And it's because it's $7 per kilogram. All right. A taro costs $4.20. What's the weight of the taro in grams? So all we're going to do here is we can actually just go $4.20 divided by 7. That's giving me 0.6 of a kg. And of course they want it in grams, so we're going to multiply it by 1,000. And that's going to give us 600 grams there. Cool. So let's go to 2C. Lovely question. All right. So with 2C, what we've got is we've got 3 weights here. So we're going to kind of plot these points here. So at 500, it's worth $1.50. That's really impressive. That's really tricky, this one. It's really awful scale, to be honest. Just looking at the axis itself and how this is set up, I would actually put down 100 as that value there, 200 as there, 300 as there, 400 as there. Now I know like some of you might actually get it quite confused. You might actually put down 100 as the middle here, and you don't want to be doing that. So I'm just going to zoom in here to kind of show you guys this part. All right, now because we're looking at the x-axis, so that we can kind of assume that this right there is going to be 50. So this is going to be 50. This right there is going to be 150, and then 200. My kind of thinking is I would have probably have given you guys a graph where the numbers are written sideways, so it's much easier to plot it. But anyway, this is the points that we're looking at. So at 500, which is somewhere here, I'm looking at $3.50, which is halfway between that 3 and 4, and I think I've got it right. Let me just double check it. So I'm just going to bring this down. That looks like $3.50 right there. That looks good. And at 1 kg, which is 1,000 grams, I'm going to be at $7. So 1,000 is here. So that's going to be right there. There's my $7. Now, realistically, guys, it's like, you kind of need those 2 dots. Once you get those 2 dots, what you can do is it should go through 0, 0. Because if you look at it, if I actually try to connect those 2 dots perfectly, I know this is a bit hard to do with this ruler here, but you can kind of see it. No, it's not going to let me do that, is it? Let's see if how much I can try and do it. Okay, that's the best I could get, because this is a what do you call it? This is not a perfect ruler, but I'm just going to extend it all the way to the end, and you can kind of see it's touching that point. And I think that's just something, when you do it by paper, you want to make sure that it actually goes through that point there. So I'm just going to kind of do this here, so it shows my 2 points, and of course my third point is a 250. Remember that this is where 250 is, and now the 251 kind of works right, because look at that, that's going to be at $1.75. So yeah, that seems to be working perfectly fine there, which is right there. Kind of zoomed in, but there is my graph, and of course it's actually going out of the to the edges of the graph, and it's kind of going a little bit beyond as well. That's not bad. Alright, so what does it say? Make a fourth point that lies on the line with an X. Explain what that point shows about the cost of taro. So I would probably pick like a nice point. When I say a nice point, what do I mean by? I might actually go with 100 grams, because that's an easy point to work with. Because if it's $7 for a kg, then it's going to be 70 cents for 100 grams. So if you go down here, I mean, the thing is, I used a very thick pen here. I mean, if I used a little one, you might actually see it much better here. That's at 100 grams. So you can kind of see it's kind of there. I'm just going to put that little dot there, and I'm going to call that 0.7. Or in other words, that's going to be 70 cents. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of say a statement that the X is when taro is 100 grams, it costs 70 cents. So and basically I've explanation of how the drawn line is used to work out the cost of taro. Oh wow, really? Like, okay, the answer schedule actually says that you need to give an explanation of how the drawn line is used to work out the cost. I guess you have to actually write a statement saying that, like, if you go along at 100 grams, then you meet the line and then go across to the y-axis and match the cost, which is going to be 70 cents. Oh, let's explain what this point shows about the cost of taro. It's interesting. I'll show you guys the answer schedule if I can find it. Give me. So as you guys can see, all it says is explanation of how the drawn line is used to work out the cost of taro. Now, I'm thinking, you know, I would probably just kind of write this part and maybe give an explanation, but yeah, not sure. I'm sorry guys, not sure, but this is how I do it. But I guess you could always say that the red line is actually used to find out what the cost of the taro is given the weight. So you probably write something like that. Anyway, let's go to the next question. What do you got? Below is the bank statement. Debit goes into account, credit goes into debit is out of, credit goes into it, balance. Why does Sam have a balance of minus $108.41? Basically that just means that he owes the bank. Alright, so a really good thing to ask is, if you ask your parents, especially if you have a mortgage, it's a very good chance that you're going to be at a minus. Your bank account is at a minus. You know, like if I mean, considering the house prices now, you probably have a mortgage of like minus $1 million in your account. That's what it looks like. But anyway, that is what it is. Question, next part of this question: balance at the end of 19th February is missing. What is the new balance? Now that $516.90 is actually it's his wages. So he owes the bank $108.41. So what we're going to do is we're going to go 516 and 90 cents, 516 and 90 cents, take away 108.41, and that's going to give us a bank balance of $408.49. So that's the balance at the end of February. And then we've got the last part of this question, which is, should Sam be worried about he's spending more than he earns? So we can go have a look at his bank statement there. Now the thing is, you know, looking at his weekly spend from 12th of February to 19th of February. All right, now there is quite a few things that you can kind of talk about here, and this is kind of those answers where you kind of need to explain what's happening with the bank balance. Like, so for example, like if you have a look at this, you know, rent is something that you would actually pay regularly, right? That's like a given payment. Cash withdrawal for $200. What's that? $200 for cash. So you can kind of say that could be for groceries, whatnot. He's putting petrol for $15. 3 Degrees Mobile monthly. That's a monthly one. So that's only $50 per month. So he might not get that in the next week's pay cycle. So he wouldn't need to worry for another three more weeks for that. And then finally, he's got this motorcycle repairs, which is about $506. Now, obviously, that's pushed him out into the negative. So if you go back to the original question, should Sam be worried that he's spending more than he earns? Now, when we look at it in first look, you're going, yeah, he's probably spending a lot, because, you know, he had a bank balance of $847, and then this week he has a bank balance of like $108. So your first instinct is that yes, he spends more. But then after looking at his spending, you can kind of actually talk about all those things. So you could actually say the rent, the cash withdrawal, and the petrol is a regular thing. But the repair, like motorcycle repair, happens. It could be a one-off thing, while the monthly mobile phone is like a monthly payment. So it's not like he's spending that every week. The other thing to be worried about is his part-time wages, right? Because he does work part-time, as it says right at the top. And if he does work part-time, then his wages is not consistent. Like, you know, I'm a what do you call it? I'm a teacher, therefore I get paid weekly the same amount of money. So for me, I know I can actually work on a balance. Now, when I was working part-time, it was different because I only got paid for the amount of hours I actually worked. So I kind of have to put that into the budget as well. So that's pretty much what you kind of need to mention here. So you can kind of see that there's a yes box, there's a no box, and I can't tell for sure. You could put in the yes box, and you might kind of give your reasoning as that's because you're looking at the start of the money and start of the bank statement and the end of it. But I would probably go with the no, because I can see that he is actually, before that paycheck came through, if I look at the previous week before that pay came on the 12th of February, so I'm looking at right here. See, on the 12th of February, he actually got paid $410. So before he got that paycheck, his bank balance would have been $847.89 minus $410.25. So if you look at it before that, he would have had $437.64. So that's kind of giving me an indication that this guy is probably, you know, he's doing it right. He's actually saving money, and so I wouldn't actually say that he's actually spending more. So I'm going to retract my answer. I'm going to say no. One of the reasons is bank balance on 11th of Feb is $437.64. Motorcycle repair is one-off. Cycle repairs is one-off. And you can also mention that the phone bill is monthly. So these are some of the reasons that you can potentially give out as to why he shouldn't be worried that he's actually spending more than he earns. Now, I probably went into a whole lot of spiel, which I probably didn't need to, but that's just to give you guys context on how you can actually answer these types of questions. Okay, so question 4, what we've got is table shows the number of whale sightings in March. What do we have here? We are going to select a graph that's suitable for. So they do say that one of the things they do say is that there is more than one correct answer. Now, I wouldn't actually do it as a line graph. A line graph generally is like connected, so in this case it's definitely not a line graph. Can't be a scatter plot. Scatter plot is like you kind of have like two numerical values for it to work. Dot plot doesn't work as well, numerical values. So you can kind of do a strip graph, and you possibly could do a pictograph as well. Yeah, so that's 2A, and then we're going down to 2B, and what it says is blah blah blah, blah different months. In which month do you have the best chance of seeing all species on the whale watching trip? I mean, looking at this, the one that has like the most number of sightings is probably July, because July, all of the 4 species of whales are fairly high, so I'm just going to tick off July. Part 2 of this question, it says, what is it? Unpacks not which 2 months of the sightings of the most toothed whales support you. So looking at part 2 of this question, you've got the sperm whale, which is this color here, which just gonna color it in, alright, so you can kind of see what's happening here. That's all the sperm whales, and then we got the orcas, which happens to be the teeth and tooth, so that's the green ones. Looks like this color ain't gonna work. Nope, it's not gonna work. Gonna try my best here. And so what do we got? Which 2 months have the sightings for the most of the toothed whales? You can kind of see it's March and November. So we're going to write down March and November. Support your answer. Basically, we can say that the bars for November and March is much higher compared to July. So number of sightings. Sightings in March and November is actually higher than July. I mean, we can add the totals if you want, but you can visually see that the orcas one in July is actually way too small there. As for the answer schedule, they say that might comment on how number of humpbacks and other whales in March and November. Majority of sightings are toothed whales. Right, so in July you've got all these other sightings happening with the other whales, but then not as much as the toothed whales compared to March and November. So it's pretty much the same kind of thing that they're saying, just in a different way. All right, question. Some train network. You catch a train at Kiwi Station. Okay, so I'm catching a train at Kiwi Station. West Line, get off at Penguin Station, which is there. Train stops at every station. How many stops are between Kiwi? Do not include Kiwi and Penguin. All right, so then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably should not be doing it my answers in red. Actually, let's go 6 right there. Okay, next question. Woo, that's a huge timetable. You want to get to Penguin just after 10 a.m. Where is Penguin after 10 a.m.? I want to get to Penguin just after 10 a.m. So that's 10:10. At what time should you catch the train at Kiwi? So we're going to basically go along here. There we go. Kiwi's right here, which means you're catching the 9:48 one to reach at 10:10 a.m. How long will the journey take between Kiwi and Penguin? So it's between 9:48 to 10:10. So 9:48 to 10 o'clock is 12 minutes, and then 10 o'clock to 10:10 is 10 minutes. So altogether you've got 22 minutes. That was a fast question. I like these fast questions, right? Because it's like numerical ones without any explanation. You just fly through them. All right, question 6. Our netball is getting faster. Okay, what was the height in centimeter of the tallest player in the 1987 squad? Now we're going to look at the tallest player is this little person. Well, not little person, but the big person here. And it's between 184 and 186, so we can confidently say that it's going to be 185 centimeters. Next question we have is height of the players in 2019 squad again. On the horizontal axis, mark the median height of players in 2019 with an X. Now, if you want to work out the median of this, what you basically are looking for is the middle. All right. Now, let's say you've not done median before at all. All right. What you could do is you can kind of just work from the tallest to the shortest and just cross them out. And in this one, it's pretty small enough. Now I'm going to show you guys both ways. The first method, you count the number of orange dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 10, 11, 12. So you've actually got 12 players. So the halfway between, so you're looking at between the 6th and the 7th player. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So your 6th person is here and the 7th person is here, which means your median height is actually going to be 186. So you could actually put down like that, all right, 186. Because it just says mark the median height. It doesn't actually tell you to give the value. Now, if you were to do this the long way, you could actually cross out the smallest one and the largest one and kind of just do it backwards. And what you'll notice is eventually you should get to those and do cancel, and then as you guys can see that between those two values is the median height. So kind of done that as well. Okay, so next part, gonna pull. So for this one, what you can do is you could actually look at where the middles for each of these years are. So for example, in 1987, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if it's 12, it's between 6 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's the middle for 1987. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we always have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So the middle is at there, 182. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So your median or the middle is somewhere there. And so you can kind of see that I'm going to agree with this claim because the middle has in 2019 is, well, in 2019 is actually to the right of 2003 and 1987. So you can kind of see that the height, or the median height is actually higher than the other 2 years compared. So you could kind of just write the statement, agree as middle height in 2019 is to the right of the middle height in 2003 and 1987. So yeah, so it's just finding out the middle and then kind of comparing the middles with the other 2 years. All right, so next question. What do you got? Lisa wants to paint a bedroom. Dimensions are shown below. What is the area in square meters of Lisa's shaded wall? What is the area in square meters of the shaded wall of Lisa's room? Okay, so I'm assuming that the shaded wall that we're looking at is this one here, which means we're going to go 4.6 times 2.4. 4.6 times 2.4 is going to give us 11.04 meters square. Looks good. Next part of this question, Lisa knows that 1 liter of paint will cover 6.7. Ceiling has an area of 18.4. What calculation should Lisa perform to work out how many liters of paint she needs? Well, so if 1 liter of paint covers 6.7 and she has to paint 18.4, you got to divide. So you got to go 18.4 divided by 6.7. That's going to give her how many liters of paint she needs. So that's that. It's actually not a bad question, just like really quick answers. Part C, Lisa also wants to create this pattern on one wall. She has 5 leaves. Turns the next one clockwise. On what angle does she need to turn the sticker? All right, so she's actually turning it 5 times, if you can think about it like this. So she's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then kind of bringing it back, right, for that original one. So that first turn, so if you look at it, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can actually go 360 divided by 5, because 360 is the angles around a point, which is going to give you 72 degrees. Which means she needs to turn at 72 degrees to get that sticker to actually go 5 times around. So guys, if you have any questions or comments about this paper, just drop it in the comment section below and I'll try my best to try and answer them. Anyway guys, there's the usual stuff that should pop up very shortly, so yeah. Hey guys, that is basically it for this video. As always, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and of course subscribe to keep up with the latest content. There should be some playlists popping up. Check them out. Great revision material. And as always, thank you for watching.